Let's go to the farmer's market. Right as you cross the street right here, there is going to be the very start of the farmer's market, which is on the waterfront in front of the beautiful Fourvière Basilica and the tour, which almost looks like we're in Paris. All right, here we go. The light is green. Now, I am going to tell you what you do want to look for and what you don't want to look for, because sometimes it'll look like the farmers market vendors. Some of them are going to be real from actual farms, and some of them are not going to be from actual farms. They will only be from like big distribution like trucks, and you'll get fruits from like Spain or even Africa, or even, all the way from across the ocean. And if you're with me, I'll teach you how to spot the difference. Now, this stand here, you can tell, is actually really pretty good. You can tell when there's grandmas that like it, but because all of the fruits and vegetables are in season. What do in-season fruit and vegetables actually mean? It means that there are no tomatoes in February, and in July you're not going to have random things that shouldn't feel like summertime when you're doing your farmers market shopping. Also, if the produce looks quote unquote too good, not a good sign. It means that it's been, in like a cold chamber and it's not looking any good. You want there to be some dirt on it. You want it to have some authenticity, like you can tell the farmer has actually pulled it out of the earth with their hands.
Here you've got a bunch of yogurts and soft cheeses that are made fresh on the farm.
All right, so this upcoming one that I'm going to show you is not farm fresh. It is actually from a truck, and I will show you. I don't want to say it out loud in front of the people because obviously that would be super rude, but because I'm aware of what the signs say and which fruits are in season, I now understand which fruits and vegetables are available in the season. So I'll show you. The bananas should not be there because bananas do not grow in France. Mangoes, pineapple do not grow in France. So you can tell, and usually you have to quote unquote throw out the whole stand with the, if you have one thing that's out of place, that means that the whole thing is out of place. And so that is something to keep in mind. I will say though, of course, not everyone can afford farm fresh produce, and if you can't, then these types of stands are actually really interesting because they will often have these little baskets of fruits and vegetables that are not very good for sale, and so they'll have an entire 2-pound basket of a fruit or a variety of vegetables for €1 or €2 because there's a rotten spot or there's this, and you just have to cut it off. But because it's not so aesthetically pleasing to the eye, they put it to the side and they sell it for less, really cheap. And if you're a student here in beautiful France and you're trying to save your money and pinch your pennies, that is what I did when I was getting started here. But and now I'm able to afford the nicer ingredients, the finer spaces, but there is space for the other stands and for the lower end of the scale as well. So don't think that if you're coming to the market that you won't be able to afford anything. There is stuff for absolutely everyone here, and it is a fantastic cultural experience as well. Also, and not to be quote unquote stereotypical, but you can usually tell when the person that's selling the thing or whatever kind of produce you're looking at is a farmer, because they're going to have those farmer forearms and they're going to be tan and they're going to look the farmer apart, and you can tell when they're not farmers as well. So that also is a good thing to keep in mind. Other things that you'll be able to find often in farmers markets that I absolutely love, let's give you a nice background, is freshly made bread. You'll get flowers along with your fruits and vegetables, and then you'll get a dairy counter. You'll also get a fish stand as well, and you'll get usually, you get, of course, dairy as in like your fresh dairy, as in like raw milk and fresh cheeses, and then you'll get your more refined dairy with like cheese wheels and hard cheeses. Will usually be two completely separate stands. And then of course you'll get your meat stands as well, and you'll get your hard dried sausages. And I'll try to sneak a peek of these things for you, but honestly, like there is enough for everyone here. Oh, look how beautiful all that is. Oh, and I totally forgot. They always have these like rotisserie chickens with like potatoes. Oh, I have to show you. And what you can see here is that there are going to be potatoes and corn in the bottom with the roasting chicken, and the fat is going to drip down onto those potatoes, and oh, they are divine. Also, a little bit uncommon, but the market will also sell porcelain that you can take all the way back, and they will wrap it up for you. They are used to having foreigners come through and wrapping it up for customs and suitcases. And then right next to it, you get your beautiful cheeses. Oh, now look at that. Of course, it's actually going to be kind of hard to get a full image of the whole thing because there's a line and people are standing in front of the produce because it's that good. Now, this is a tricky stand because the products all look incredibly good, but they're not really that dirty. So you have to tell the difference between if it's a high-end local store or if it is a off a truck kind of store. And because of the prices, this one is actually a high quality one. And breads. And like I said, here's a half off one. And of course you can't see it because everyone's standing in line. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that all of these croissants and pain au chocolat, the raisin rolls and the brioches, they all need to be cooked morning of. So these people have been up since 4 a.m. maybe. Now, another thing that people forget is that when you go and you look at a map and you're looking at France, what is on the other side of the south of France? You get Africa. And so often you're going to get African influences in Moroccan influences as well in the farmers market. Just like how back in the US, there are, Canadians that come from the north down and Mexicans that come from the south up. You're going to have the same kind of influences here in France, where you have, people from Africa that come up. So you're going to have this type of African influence, and honestly, it's a beautiful cultural mix here. And so I'm going to show you a stand that has that cultural mix. And so here you have every olive that comes to mind, and maybe this is a little bit Italian even, but with these types of stands, you're going to get a wide variety of cultural mixing. And here is where the African influence comes in, because they're going to have the fruits, the dried fruits that come from the African regions, along with the nuts. And once again, you're going to get some Arab influences with their beautiful pastries here, which are perfect. All right, so I'm coming up on a meat stand, and what you're going to be able to see is that there's a big difference between a farm meat producer and a butcher. A butcher is going to have a wider variety of cuts, and a farmer is going to have less of a variety, but the ingredients are going to be more deep in color, and you can tell the product is really good. So here are the fresh farm-made sausages. course, you get all these people. You can tell it's popular. Okay, this next section is one of my favorites. It is the dried sausage section, and just like as an American, it's so awesome to look at. It just feels, I can feel my European ancestral whatever coming through. So here I'm going to show you. Look at all those sausages. And of course, all the people because of how popular it is. You know, it's Sunday and everyone's just out doing grocery shopping, and oh, look at that choice. Look at all those choices. And coming up on a cheese stand, look at all these beautiful cheeses. You don't get that in America. I mean, you probably do, but you know, it's going to be way more expensive, but these are all, of course, local. Now, because it is Sunday and it's the farmers market, everyone's out and you know it's busy. You're going to get sometimes live music, especially when the weather is as nice as it is out now. But they're on break because of vacation. All right, so here's an example of a fruit stand that is not local because you can tell the products are not from here and they do look like they have come off of a truck, which obviously is no problem because, you know, if you're wanting a certain kind of fruit and it's out of the season, you know, this is where you would come. But of course, you then learn and understand just from doing the markets which produce is in season when you do the farmers markets enough times. Now this is an Italian stand, and you can tell because, you know, of course it doesn't look French, but it looks Italian, and you're going to get, like I said, some African influence, but because Italy is literally France's neighbor, you're going to get also like Italian influences here and there, much less than, you know, of course, your French stands that you're going to have here in a French farmer's market. Here's another cheese stand, and often they're going to have, just save this from a gust of wind, and so I'm going to take one. They'll often have little bites of cheeses that you can have. Nothing better to, you know, instead of going to the grocery store on an empty stomach, you go to the farmer's market on an empty stomach and you just come and enjoy yourself. Love that. Water's a little dirty right now, but still, the water gets dirty when the seasons change. But honestly, when it's full summer, it's blue and it's absolutely beautiful. But what I am going to do is I want to show you so I'm on the outside of the type of like alleyway that is the farmers market. So I'm just going to show you what it's like on the other side. And so like here is the market stand, and then you've got all of your people just kind of going back and forth in this direction. And then you've got usually, you know, your vendors, their stock fruit and vegetables. You can tell like we're in between all these trees. There are going to be trucks that line the whole thing because it's where, you know, if they're coming from a farm, they're going to need a truck to transfer all their produce. And then you're going to get like fruits, vegetables, and these funny little tables that they put all of their produce on. And then of course trees that line the whole thing. And at night, these little lamps light up, of course. And so that is what it's like here on the farmers market, but let's keep going. Look at all these people. But also it is 11:30 a.m. so everyone is out. If you come here at around like 8:30, 9 a.m. if you're an early riser, which I highly recommend, it is practically, well, not practically empty, but it's much emptier. Now, so look at these funny little birds that are, you know, these mechanical birds. They are put in place to help keep the flies away from the dried sausage, and you can smell. You've got duck sausage, you've got mushrooms, you've got cheese, you've got herbe de Provence, you've got roquefort, you've got all these kinds of saucisson, and these are the types of sausages that are cut incredibly thin. So really, to try out. Now, because it's 11:30, there's going to be a lot less produce that's available, but this is another great example of a stand that is local because they're going to have fresh bottled produce, and they're going to have a very limited selection. When someone has limited selections, that's a really good sign that they're only growing a few produce on their farm. And you got your little coffee stop, which is usually at the end of the farmers market, along with other like juices that are available. But honestly, what I provide when I'm doing a tour guide of the farmers market, what I prefer is look at me bumping into people and talking French. I will go either really early and I'll grab like a croissant and a cafe with like a coffee or like an espresso, or even I will do my farmer's market and then at the end I will grab like a croissant and then I'll just mosey my way on back to my apartment to put all my stuff away, of course. But these are slow Sundays and they are so wonderful. These are the moments that just make my weekends the best. I look forward to this every single week. Now we are hitting the end of the farmers market, and usually what you're going to see at the end of the farmers markets, before I finish up, like I said, are like the juice bars. And these are usually a lot of fun, and then you're going to get like little restaurants with like their table seating, and it's nice because it's on the waterfront, and so you can enjoy it's a little bit more expensive because you're paying for a touristy area, but it is really enjoyable and it is something to do if you are only coming to Lyon for a little bit of time. Now, of course, because I have walked all the way down, now I'm going to walk all the way back. I will give you a tip about what I have been doing for the past 8 years now that I've been doing these farmers markets. Is what I'll do is I'll have my list of things that I want, and when I get to the farmers market, I'll have a rough idea of what it is that I want, but I will put my list away. When I get to the end, I'll put my list back out and I'll see if there's anything that I was not able to get, and then on my way back through the crowd, I'll see if I can get anything that's missing from my list, because I don't want to base my eating off of a list. That's so mechanical and it's so like gotta get, I'm not here to do grocery shopping. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to enjoy myself. I'm here to have a cultural experience, and I'm here to be inspired to purchase the beautiful fruits, vegetables, dairy products, meats, whatever you name it. And then, if I did forget, I need fruit for that, maybe I'm making a tart or something. Then on the way back, I'll get whatever it is that's missing. Now, because we are in a more popular area of Lyon, and this is the main center farmers market section, most of the vendors are going to be able to speak English because they're used to having tourists here and there. If, however, you go into more of the outer sections of Lyon and you do go to a farmer's market, which is also perfectly fine, they'll be less likely to speak English. So if you really want to make sure, otherwise, you just point, show your money, and usually you're good to go. Now, one other thing that I do think that you do need to be mindful of is, if you do end up coming too late, there's going to be an ocean of people, and it's going to honestly make your experience not as good. So I do recommend coming here earlier rather than later. For example, this is the ocean that I'm looking at. All right, grocery shopping is all done. Here I am at Hotel de Ville with the beautiful fountain. Now, if you liked this video and you're interested in having a tour guide, you can absolutely have a tour guide with me, Matthew Cress. All you have to do is just go to cressdietetics.com and you can book a Lyon tour guide depending on the type of farmers market that you're interested in, and feel free to reach out and I would love to show you around. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.